is actually very interesting. It's my dream paper. For last 26 years, I've been looking for this particular thing and I haven't found it, and I'm now looking forward to Abhay Karan coming and talking to us about it. I'll just give you a background. This is not a full paper. It's an interesting concept which was introduced at the Market Research Seminar, Society Seminar last year. What MRSI did was it invited young researchers, not people buddhas like me, to come up and pitch their idea. So it was like a pitch session. You had 90 seconds where you came and you sold your idea. And then thereafter, the audience in the, which was attending the seminar actually voted. And if your paper was, or the idea was interesting, you got a chance to come and present a full-scale paper. That's how Abhay Karan, who's now with us in IMRB Delhi, at that point in time, he was with GFK More. He pitched this idea, and the idea is called automatic, just let me get this right. It says automatic questionnaire machine. I'm sure everyone wants the questionnaires which come out on their own. So here's over to Abhay Karan to tell us about this automatic questionnaire machine.
For giving me this opportunity. My paper is titled Automated Questionnaire Machine. So I would first like to talk about what led to the thought of an automated questionnaire machine. So the welcome I received, I am just 1 year into this industry, and something that I noticed when I entered the industry was that though fieldwork is very important to us, but in most of the tracks, whenever the data fluctuates, our emotions also fluctuate. So fieldwork is very critical from that point of view. Did we ever think that a pizza would be delivered to our place via a drone, or maybe traveling in a car without a driver, from standing in queues to get our money withdrawn to face-to-face banking? So why right now are we still chasing people for responses? So how about market research without people chasing other people for responses? Why not automation of fieldwork? Some of the current issues that are faced in the field are manipulated or fudged interviews. Though we have back checks and scrutiny checks on our part, but we cannot run away from reality that there is manipulation to a certain extent that happens. A variation in administration. Now here by this point I basically mean the human factor that comes into play. Now depending on the interviewer's understanding of the way he presents himself, there could be a problem in the responses that we get and ultimately the quality of data. Some of the other issues that are there associated with fieldwork are time, travel and cost. Because we are in the service industry, a lot of our studies are on fire, so time is obviously of importance. Travel, we have to sometimes go to remote areas in order to cater to the respondents and take their interviews. Now what can be done to resolve all of these issues? My solution for this is the automated questionnaire machine. I'm sure many of you would be having many queries in your head as to what this is and how this would work. So that is covered on the next slide, where what is AQM? So AQM is basically a kiosk which would be present for collecting data, and this would ensure completion of the interview there and then at the convenience of the respondent. Right now what we do is we go to the respondent and somehow we intrude their time, or maybe just force them to take out 15 or 20 minutes or whatever the duration of the interview is. The AQM, the respondent would come to give the interview basis his or her own convenience. Automation of fieldwork, which is similar to CAVI or CATI. Multiple studies would be covered through the AQM. Now what I mean by multiple studies is that we could have one consolidated RQ for certain similar studies or different studies, but one consolidated RQ for multiple studies, and whichever TG that particular respondent falls into, the NQ for that particular study pops up. So let's say I am a respondent and there are multiple studies going on at IMRB. So there is one consolidated RQ for a few studies, and I come and respond. Whichever TG I would lie into, the NQ for that particular study would pop up for me. The AQM would be audio-video enabled in order to ensure that there is complete understanding on part of the respondent Now, how would this work? Why would the respondent come to the machine and give me the interview? First is, there would be incentives for the respondent in terms of coupons or offers where we could have tie-ups with other companies, and basically those would be served as incentives for the respondent. The machine would be interactive in order to ensure that the respondent is interested and we get good quality of data. There would be an administrator to facilitate, basically just to ensure that the whole process is carried out smoothly, like if the person is not aware as to how a machine works, or maybe plugging in of headphones or the audio enabling anything. Then we would have Aadhaar card or fingerprint scanner in order to ensure the identity of the respondent, and also to ensure that one respondent is not coming multiple times to the machine just for the incentives or offers, and also for the 6-month criteria which is followed in the industry. Now, where would we install this? Initially, I thought that the AQM can be installed in densely populated areas where we could cater to a large number of people, and also people have time on hand. Like, let's say malls or maybe railway stations where people are present in large numbers and they also have time at hand. And what would be the revenue model for the AQM? Market research companies for one, because we would be covering multiple studies, so we would be collecting a lot of data for them. So research companies could actually pay us for the data that we collect. Other companies, as I mentioned before, the incentives for the respondent would be in terms of coupons and offers. So the incentives, let's say the AQM company has a relationship with Shopper Stop, and I am offering coupons of Shopper Stop to the respondent. So I am basically carrying on promotion of activities for Shopper Stop. So these companies would in turn pay me for the services. In terms of advertisements, I have taken a call that advertisements won't be a part of the machine initially, because the prime focus should be on data collection and quality of data, so advertisements were not a part of the model as such. Now, what's in it for the MR industry? Why should MR look at AQM? There were some of this slide is basically catering to the issues that I had mentioned before. So convenience in terms of travel, in terms of cost, you are basically getting the respondent to come to the machine on his own and giving you the responses. Standardization, every respondent would be asked the question in the same way. So there is no problem of non-standardization or lack of understanding of the interviewer. Time in the sense that we are covering multiple locations, different types of selective targeting, like this point I mentioned because let's say we have to cater to people who are traveling on international air flights. Now, a normal approach of finding these people on the road would be very difficult. But if you have such a machine installed at airports, so people who have spare time on their hand could actually get involved and give you responses. And cost, this is a time efficient way of collecting data because you are not traveling to different cities and chasing other people for responses. The respondents are coming on their own. That is what I had in mind with the AQM. The other aspects such as financial aspects were not looked at initially. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir. There is one question from West Karachi. This is Kamal. Mr. Karan Singh, you have presented that. I have one question. That is Aadhaar card fingerprint scanner.
Yes,
what
sir.
is the use of that? How do you use it for respondents? Could you please tell us in detail something that we have?
Thank you for your question. Basically, what we wanted was that we wanted to identify the respondent in order to ensure that a particular respondent is not just visiting my machine multiple number of times just for the incentives and putting in fake responses or whatever. So this was the Aadhaar card or fingerprint scanner was to ensure A, multiple visits, and B, we also have this criteria that the respondent should not have interviewed in the past 6 months. So if I have a fingerprint scanner in my machine and the respondent visits the machine again within a period of 6 months, then the interview would be terminated there and then. So that was the purpose of having Aadhaar card or fingerprint scanner. What I initially thought was that we could also install a camera on the machine and maybe just take a picture at the time of the interview, so that can also help in identification.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
This is Amit Tanwar here from AMA Pune. I have a question on this topic. Like suppose I have a study and I want to collect a sample size of suppose around 100, and how will this system ensure that that sample size is achieved within a fixed time period? Let's say within a period of 10 days. So how this system will ensure that?
Yeah, so basically initially what we thought was that a couple of machines can be installed in densely populated areas, and then we can actually see the productivity and the conversion rate that we are getting. Because initially it would be very difficult to estimate where all the machine is installed and what all people sort of visit your machine. Like I could have a machine in malls, but it could be possible that only people of a particular SEC are sparing the time for that machine, and maybe people of higher class or people who are just busy in their schedules are not visiting. So the exact method of determining the productivity is not in place as of now, but because we don't know what response a machine like an ATM standing in a market would get. So that is why I said that we would initially just go to densely populated areas to see the response, because that would be a place where people are present in large numbers and they do have spare time at hand. So that would be a good area to go to initially, just to see the response.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question.
Sorry, just to answer in connection to that same question, I think Abhay just forgot probably mentioning that, but in our discussion on that, what he mentioned was it can also be similar to, like for example, during election time there is a campaigning vehicle which moves around. So this machine can be also something which actually does that. So you are able to shift your location, and it's not necessarily static and only positioned in one place. It is able to go from one place to another.
But if it will go from one place to another, then how will we come to know that where the machine is?
The machine is something which is going to be from, it is like, for example, any of your mobile dispensaries or mobile thing that we can actually, have multiple machines and multiple vehicles. So it is limited to like one machine in one city only.
Okay. I have one more query. Let's say if I go to this machine and I found that there are already 2-3 people standing there for that and the interview takes about 20 to 25 minutes, so I will not want to wait for that much period. So, so what should be the solution for this?
So basically this is like in that case we would lose on that particular respondent, because we cannot monitor as to how many people are there, and we cannot actually issue a waiting number or a queue number for that. So in such a case where there is a queue and people are actually waiting to respond, in that case we might just lose on respondents who are not willing to wait.
So you just said,
Sorry, alternately what would be done is, because there is a person who is on help, there is an administrator, what he would do is he would take down the contact number and the name of the person, and then we would again issue a callback or try to recontact that person, and if that person is willing and is available, would respond to the next.
okay. If this machine is located in a highly dense populated area, like you said, then there will be chances that you have to contact many of the respondents.
Yes, we might have to recontact some of the respondents if they are interested definitely in participating, and if it is densely populated and if there is going to be a queue, there will be the system of fallback or recontact done.
Well, I think we'll be very happy if people are queuing outside the kiosk. That will be the.
Yeah, I thought the MRB field officers.
But can we have any other question from somebody else on any other point on this?
Hello. I would like to ask a question. I am from MRB Karachi. Usually, what types of studies we have conducted so far with AQM?
And how much time you have taken for interview, sir?
Now this is just a concept, like more of a prototype which might just be a part of everyday in future.
So if the MRB group decides to back up, or if there is a VC financier sitting somewhere, hearing this brilliant idea, they will come forward and fund this.
Hemant.
Yeah, okay.
Hemant, your voice is breaking.
Okay, Raja, the line is bad. I mean, just to add to what Avikas was saying, this is actually happening, but not in the EQM as a physical space, but you have transaction marketing platforms online which allow you to serve surveys. So, for instance, if I'm downloading a song from iTunes, excuse me, cost me 30 rupees. I made an offer of saying that you want to answer a survey and you get the song free. MRB Digital guys use this platform very often. So yes, this is something which is happening in the virtual world, and I'm really happy to see the amount of interest that the machine has generated. So Karan, I certainly don't have the money to be the VC or your thought-provoking session. Over to you, Raja.
Thanks very much, Hemant. And before we close with today's session, we have actually come to the end of the current series of MRSI seminar presentations. We will give a break. I don't know for how long. I don't know whether it will be for about a month or maybe about 4 to 6 weeks or so before we resume with another topic, another idea. And I would in fact welcome ideas and suggestions, and even if it is a need maybe from a specific location, saying that can we have on this topic somebody to come and then present, we'll be very happy to do that under the Knowledge Hour initiative. Please do write to either me or to Jones and let us know the topic or the the suggestion or even the need that you are feeling, and let us know. I think we will be we will work on it and then launch a new series. Well, thanks very much. Thanks, Hemant, and thank you all. Yeah, good day. Bye bye.